Hi friends, Kimberley here. I want to talk to you about fear. So many of us, we like to choose joy because obviously it feels better for us. And yes, of course, choosing love does help raise your frequency. When you enjoy, it does raise your frequency. However, sometimes we do that and we ignore the fear. So, fear and love is a manifestation of duality, right? It's what we here in physical reality explore. But in higher truth, all is neutrality. In higher truth, we are unconditional love, right? So I guess the choice is ours. The choice is yours. Do you want to remember more of who you are as source, as oneness? Do you want to remember more of your limitless, multidimensional nature, activating more of your intuitive psychic abilities? Well, the key is to be love and oneness in action. And yes, we might have some practice doing this. We might be able to see the oneness in us, in all others. Yet when it comes to fear, we go, no, thank you very much, right? We see that as bad. We like to also repress that within us when something is too negative, or maybe it's an unresolved trauma. We like to just, push it down even further. But understand that the more we kind of segregate love and fear, we create further dimensions of duality. It keeps us in this dimension of duality, this expression of duality and manifestations of duality. So if you want to know more of who we are in unconditional love, if you want to know more of who we are as source, we are to let go of that division, right? Let go of its division of conditional love and fear by seeing it is just two sides of the same coin, yin and yang, so to speak, right? And understand that all representations in love and all representations in fear are all aspects of us. So if we ignore the fear, we are ignoring a part of us. So how are we supposed to remember our oneness self if we ignore who we are in fear, right? So the journey here is to unite, right? Unite those aspects of us together. And we do that through acceptance, through unconditional love. Who we are is unconditional love, which is at the most foundational point, unconditional acceptance. Yes, we may not be able to agree with certain behaviors, but when we practice acceptance, we're starting to see things from the eyes of source, from the eyes of love. That is who we are, right? And I know it's difficult to, explore the darkness, to explore the fear. And that is why it's much easier to suppress it. And we then choose to just think of the higher thought and choose love and light, but we ignore the darkness, we ignore the fear. But we are here to embrace it all. Yes, embracing it all, even the stuff that is maybe not preferred. And I'm not saying we are here to chase after the darkness, to just focus just on darkness. No, it is about focus. It's being able to basically embrace whatever comes up to us in the present moment, right? Being able to see everything in our reality in all conditions from the higher truth, that is, that everything is unconditional, that it's all unconditional love. Yes, and you might go, how could something so dark, or how could something be so traumatic and be for us? How can that be love? But there are higher reasons behind everything, as you know. Everything is assisting us in our evolution to choose love. Things does trigger us, it catalyzes us, but sometimes that is needed from a higher perspective for us to then go within, to do the inner work, to then choose love, to then go through the healing processes. All right, so basically, it's about changing our perspectives to fear itself. Instead of saying, okay, that's this big, ugly, scary thing over here. It's about being curious about it. Okay, so I'm experiencing fear. Okay, there's a situation in my reality that I do not prefer. Instead of you saying, okay, maybe it's my fault I manifested this. No, because we also have things manifested into reality and it's for us, right? And sometimes because of what we call a soul contracts, pre-birth intentions, we choose to explore certain things in our life. It does trigger us for a higher purpose, right? So let go of the notion of I created this, it's my fault and so forth, right? That's one thing. But if you are experiencing something negative, you have an opportunity to become empowered from it. But it does take you, training yourself to see the higher perspective. So in the first case, in the first instance, you can start to detach from it. By you being so emotionally engaged with it, you can then, see it from a point of curiosity, play the observer. And this allows you to have some distance from it. And that's when you can look at it, right? And there are different processes of shadow work. I've talked about this a lot, right? But the main thing is just to be curious about it and see it that it's for us for a reason. And I'm not saying it's here to punish you. No, that's a perception of duality. That's a perception of victim mentality. But it's here for you to take a journey. And you may not know what that journey is, but it's for you. The journey is for you and what you discover along the way. And understand that through adversity, whether it is mild or whether it is intense adversity, understand there is so much empowerment comes from it. It is then when you can have the awareness of who you are. And I'm not saying you need adversity, right? You need the fear to elevate your awareness, because some people don't go through, intense adversity. That's okay. It's part of your soul path and that's perfect. But for those of you who experience fear, understand it is for you. It's giving you opportunity to choose love, to choose acceptance. And whether it is an emotional state, whether it's a conditional effect in your reality, if it affects you, it's for you. No matter what is occurring in your reality, you can choose acceptance. Again, it does not mean you have to agree with the behaviors. But if you choose acceptance, you are on your way to seeing the perspective of source. You are on the way to igniting more of your, separated aspects of you, right? Because when you're in fear, it's like a separated dimension of you. But you are here to unite those aspects of you through your acceptance, through your love, unconditional love, right? You have the power to do this. And I know it's not always easy, far from it, right? But then, of course, in your everyday reality, yes, choose joy. Yes, that raises your frequency, but, don't ignore the darkness. Don't ignore the fear when it comes to you. Because, yes, the collective consciousness, we are attached to the collective consciousness, which means there are times when we are going to be triggered by fear. Yes, the collective is we are now vibrating in high dimensions of oneness, yet we are still attached to duality. And that's why you're seeing a lot of it happen at the moment, manifested in our greater reality, right? It's giving us opportunities to transmute it. And the way we do that is to unite it instead of avoiding it, repressing it. For us to be enlightened from it, to remember our enlightened state, is to be empowered from it, is to embrace it. And that's why it is about embracing all aspects of our reality, even the good and the bad, so to speak, right? Because it's just two sides of the same coin. You are the coin. Yes. All those aspects, all that ugliness, all that darkness, it's also you. Are you ashamed of it, or do you accept it? Some of you had experiences where this emotion is quite strong, like shame. Doesn't matter what happened in your reality. Understand everything happened in your reality to lead you where you are today. You have a choice now to choose love. I'm not saying shame just for yourself, but even for the greater society or for other reality, or whether it is judgment for others, judgment for yourself, whether it is anger, whether it is resentment, is fear, right? You have a choice to choose love. You have a choice to choose acceptance. It's up to you. There is no wrong, there is no right. But I suspect you want to remember more of your oneness self that remembers their freedom state, that remembers their joy state, their unconditional, limitless nature. For you to do that is to do the soul work, right? It's easy to explore the joy, but the master class is using that love and joy and using that same perspectives on the fear. That is the master class, and you're ready for it. Well, thank you for watching. Until next time, farewell.